Well, hello internets, here we are. Got a little bit of a story for you guys. Little bit of a hints slash tips slash lessons learned slash try not to make the same mistakes that I did. If you guys want to listen. If you don't, well then feel free to click away. It is still a free country. And yeah, welcome to our vlog. So, here we go. Well, as you guys know, I moved from the apartment that I was in for 2 years. In the beginning, the apartment had some compromises, some things that made me feel uneasy. However, I thought, it's just me. Coming from the house and all, you kinda get used to the space, get used to having the ability to fix things immediately, having the say in paint colors and flooring and stuff. And moving into an apartment, you had none of that. You were at the mercy of the landlord and their choices and what they figured was the best environment for you to live in. So, I made my best. I was there for 6 months or so before I went on my epic vacation in the spring of 2019. And between the move-in time and my epic spring vacation, there was some questionable things, like the dishwasher that broke pretty soon after moving in, like the high heat that you couldn't seem to control or shut off or turn down or whatever, even in the winter time. And that only got worse as the time went on. And there were electrical things that were showing up right away, but I thought, it's because I've got their microwave plugged into the same breaker as the fridge, which, well, again, in a house, in my house, never happened unless you turn the microwave, fridge and air conditioner on at the same time or so, unless there was a huge drain like that. All that was of course reported to the maintenance, and they ignored it. So I was having a hard time adjusting to the apartment life, so I figured, well, maybe I'm just being too picky. Well, I went on my epic summer vacation, and time kind of ticked by. I come on back and I notice the drab, dreary gray color of the hallways, the dim, whatever it is, like 40-watt light bulbs they have in the hallways. And I walk into my apartment and I see the tanny kind of double coffee color on the wall, the dark in there, the weird, dirty, depressive kind of feeling of the building. I look around and I see the lack of maintenance going on in the common areas. I see that they still hadn't fixed the things that I had asked them to look at, like the dishwasher and the heat being super high and stuff. And I looked around at my budget, looked around at other buildings in the city here, and there was nothing that I could afford at that time that I felt safe to move into. And by safe, I don't mean like wrap myself in bubble wrap, snowflake kind of safe. I mean like that didn't have a record of people getting knifed or beat up, or vehicles getting broke into regularly in their parking lots, which does happen, or do happen at these other cheaper buildings. Hence why I moved into this one to begin with, because of its reputation of the past. And you know, I kind of made the best of what I had at hand. I kind of made the best of things and kind of told myself, yeah, you know, things can't be that bad. Just hang up some of my paintings that I did to give color to the walls, and you'll be fine. Throughout winter, more repairs were needed. There was issues with the paint in the bathroom flaking off the walls. There was issues with the soft spot in the master bedroom floor getting softer and you know, more dangerouser. And once again, those were reported to maintenance, and maintenance didn't really seem to care. Well, I was sick in the whatever it would have been there, August, September of 2019. Like really sick. I was running what I thought was a really high fever. I wasn't really aware of what was going on. I could barely drag myself out of bed to walk the dog or even go down and pay the rent, much less manage their maintenance requests or whatever was going on for their end. So I just kinda will let things be, and then still dealing with the insane heat because, well, again, the heat wasn't fixed. Even in the summertime, with the heat so-called turned off, it still had an ambient temperature of 27 degrees on a cool day and upwards of 40 degrees on a hot day, 40 degrees plus on a hot day. Well, pretty soon that early fall led back into winter, and over winter I just cracked the windows and let the cold air in, and it kind of balanced out the insanely hot with the insanely cold and made a semi-comfortable warmish apartment, which was fine. However, over the dead of winter, more things started to pop up. I started having trouble with the keys they gave me. I broke 2 of my keys in the door and had to fish them out, and which was ever fine. Okay, you know, the lock seemed to be jamming and not working properly, and once again that was mentioned to them and nothing was ever done about it. And the tub surround started to peel away from the tub, as well as I think the tub itself might have had one of those refinishing jobs done on it at one time, because the tub itself, the finish started to come off it, and it started to show rust through the white enamel of the tub. Now, most tubs won't rust unless there's a problem, and it was either coming from their water, which had a really high rust content, or it was the enamel weakening and allowing rust to come through the other way. All I know is the tub was either black or brown, and it wasn't for me, because, well, it wasn't for me, right? I'm not that dirty. The apartment always had a weird, dead, rotten kind of smell to it. I always thought it was the neighbors from down the hallway that like that interesting cooking that they used to eat in the country where they're from. However, when it's physically in your apartment, your space, that you never can seem to wash, wipe, clean, steam clean the carpets, it's on your clothes, on your furniture, I don't think 100% of that was coming from them. People would come over to my house and they would wonder what was going on. You know, why did it smell the way it did? And well, that's just the way it was, right? I think the carpet was rotten, or the subfloor in the master bedroom was rotten, or the toilet was leaking, the plumbing was leaking in the walls, or maybe it was the walls being rotten from the windows leaking that they said they had fixed before I moved in, but no, they didn't. They still leaked. they still caused mold, they still caused water damage, they still wrecked things that I had, you know, under the windows before I realized they leaked. Well, in the spring of this year, in the spring of 2020, I had time to reflect once again, time to think, time to reevaluate situations that are going on, time to plan the next course of action. I had dealt with and gotten over the majority of the conflict and confusion that was in my life over the past 3 years, to the point where you realize that what you're feeling is not normal. What you're feeling is something more. So you think to yourself, what can you do to make the change? What can you do to make things better? So then you start to look around once again at apartments. You come to the realization that apartments are expensive. Yeah, it would have been cheaper-ish to have kept the house in terms of renting, in terms of garage, in terms of yard space, in terms of freedoms, in terms of taking in a boarder, you know, all that stuff. But no, the house was a very, very expensive lesson. Very, very expensive part of my life, chapter in my life that I've learned my lesson on. Probably will never go down that road again. Probably, not sure. I never thought that I would take back, you know, and so I started looking around again for apartments, and I come across one in a building that had been nearly completely renovated, the building itself, and the suite itself had been almost completely renovated, meaning, you know, new flooring, new paint, vanities, cupboards, drywall, things like that. And it has older kitchen cupboards, but they're the wood cupboards that have been repainted, and you know, they're far better than the ones that I had in the old apartment by far. And there is no nasty dead 40-year-old carpet. It is laminate or some kind of flooring on the floor. I think it's laminate, which is awesome because I don't have to deal with that nasty carpet. You know, the tub surround is new. The tub looks in good condition other than one little chip. The air in this apartment is super clean, and I mean fresh cleaning. Like, it doesn't smell like someone's dead arse or someone died on the living room carpet, then they didn't come check for 2 months until they went to go evict the person or something. This apartment was so nice. It kind of has the same vibe, if you will, as my old bachelor suite that I had back in the day, except it's way better. And well, I decided to make the change, make the move, gave my notice at the old apartment, packed everything up, and moved within 2 weeks. You know, still paid the rent, of course, till the end of the month. So the apartment had sat the better part of empty for 2 weeks. It was all cleaned up, all good to go, and they would not enter the old apartment until the rent was up, and they would not enter the old apartment until I was gone out of there, and would not allow me to be there while they walked through, because I have no idea. They claimed because it was of COVID. And it's been a month or so since I moved, and they've done their walkthrough, done their billing, counted their beans, and sent me a bill. And looking at the bill, they've kept my damage deposit, and I don't understand why. Because the apartment was clean. It was cleaner moving out of it than it was when I moved in, other than the above mentioned tub surround, the towel bar, the wet spots under the windows from them leaking, which is not my fault, the swelling of the countertop from previous tenants' water damage, I forget what their wall is. It's all documented on video, which you guys may or may not have already seen, as well as some other stuff which was reported to them that they chose not to fix. Now, the towel bar, as you guys may or may not have seen in the video, was a bad repair job done either before I moved in or years before I moved in. That because of humidity and such, the mud and the mesh let go, and the towel bar literally fell off the wall. The tub surround came unglued because they didn't use the proper adhesive, or enough of the adhesive, and it let go. And I had it held up with tape to keep the water from going behind, you know, the surround and the walls. But the kicker is they did not charge me for anything in the bathroom at all, or the countertop, or the anchors I put in the wall in the kitchen to hang a bulletin board, or a couple things like that. They charged me mudding and repainting for the master bedroom, mudding and repainting for the office. Well, there were no pictures in the master bedroom at all, period. The only hanging thingy at all in the master bedroom was a mirror, and that was hanging on the door, and there was no marks anywhere on the walls of the master bedroom. There was no holes on the walls anywhere in the master bedroom. There was no doorknob holes anywhere in that apartment. And the office, there was no pictures in the office, no doorknob holes in the office, no damage to the walls in the office other than what their leak was underneath the windows that they had claimed they had fixed. In the living room, there were some picture holes, as in like nail holes, but that is normal wear and tear, normal use to hang pictures up. Are you supposed to live in their apartment and not decorate it the way it is pleasing to your eye? Like, it's not like I cut holes in the wall to put an air conditioner in the wall, which would have been far more beneficial than frying an air conditioner because of their faulty electrical. It's not like I cut holes in the wall to have a look through so I could watch TV while editing in the office. And hey, you know, it is what it is, right? I haven't called them yet to ask about the bill. I haven't tried to confront them yet to see what's going on. But based on what I've seen over the 2 years of living there, with their lack of maintenance on the building, their lack of cooperation with other tenants, and based on what I have experienced with them, I really don't think fighting per se with them over the bill is really going to get much different outcome than what already is. It would be nice to have back my $200 damage. It would go to pay for groceries, go to pay for my art table workbench that I want to build this fall. You know, but at the same time, how much aggravation is it going to cause for that $200 to fight with them to get it back? Just the fact that they ignored my maintenance requests spoke volumes to me. Just the fact they did not care about their buildings, their common areas, their areas that they are supposed to maintain says everything. Just the fact they didn't even want me there when they did the walkthrough to defend myself against their poorly maintained, falling apart building. I would have even stayed 6 feet away, wore a mask, you know, wore a bubble, wore a garbage bag, whatever they wanted me to do. It's almost like they didn't even do a walkthrough on my apartment. It's almost like they just said master bedroom and a second bedroom and living room, because that's the base damage that they charge everybody, because there's always going to be damage in the living room and the bedroom and the other bedroom, just because that's what everybody does, like with kids or whatever, right? It's almost like they didn't even look through my apartment. But I've driven around to their other buildings in town, driven around to their brand new buildings in town, and you could tell that their new buildings are showing lack of maintenance. You could tell that their other buildings have a lot of empty suites, and empty suites do not bring in rent. Poorly maintained buildings do not attract tenants. When you talk to other people that have rented from this company that I used to rent for, without leading them on, without stacking the deck to get answers you're looking for, their experiences were. And some of them had positive experiences, but they had issues with maintenance. Other people had issues with them not taking the correct amount of rent out and then threatening to evict you because apparently you didn't pay the correct rent, except it was their problem. They chose not to withdraw the right amount out of your account. So there seems to be a lot of games being played by my old landlord. A lot of issues going on, a lot of things happening that the public doesn't know about. It's almost like the property management company or the owners that own the building are going broke. And they're slowly milking the company for all it's worth, and then they're just going to walk away from everything. I am so glad that I moved out. I'm so glad that I'm free. My only regret is I didn't do it sooner, and that I chose to go based on past experiences with this old apartment and rent there to begin with. I should have just rented from the company that I'm currently renting with now. I may not, or probably would not have had the suite that I've got now. It probably would have been on the ground floor, and it probably would have been one of the unrenovated old ones, but it still would have been better than what I moved out of by far. My ideas, tips, things that I've said, take them with a grain of salt. They are what they are. They're my own words, my own experiences. Yours may differ. Your experiences may differ renting from the same company because, hey, you know, we all see different things, have different experiences. But just be aware, there are things out there that we don't understand. There are things out there that affect our lives. There are things out there that mess with our heads. They make us think we're crazy when we're really not. They take us down a dark path when we really don't need to be down there. We have the ability to change as long as we are willing to make the change. Like with the house, sometimes change can be expensive. Sometimes it can be costly. Sometimes it can cause a lot of stress. But in the end, it's definitely worth it. It is what it is. A little bit of a vlog, video, whatever for the day. Take it as it is. Thank you for watching, and we will catch y'all later.